everybody. Welcome to GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Cathy, and for the last day of March, we've got somebody special that we're bringing on today. I know you know his name. I know you've seen his work all over social media, and it's a pleasure to welcome Keith Wassung. How you doing, Keith?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Listen, you do so much for chiropractors and so much to help chiropractors get really good information out to the public. And that's really why we want to talk to you today, because people need to understand what it is that we do, and they need to understand that it's more than neck pain, back pain, and headaches. And you do such a great job of providing useful tools. So talk to us about why it's so important for chiropractors to start educating their communities through social media.
That's where they're reaching people. That's where people are hanging out. That's where you go, and you can reach far more people on social media, all the various platforms, than you ever will one-on-one or in lectures, which you still need to do those things in the office. Also, you can empower and equip your patients who love what you do, who love you, but maybe have a difficult time explaining it. You can equip them with the tools where they can go out and share on social media. They can share in the various platforms the content about subluxation, spinal health, systemic health, and of course, chiropractic. So you can just reach so many more people, and they can grasp information on their own time frame.
I think that's the key part, that they can do it on their own time frame, because oftentimes as docs, we think that our patients get it, right? We think we educated them on day one. We had a great report of findings. They committed to care. They're showing up for their appointments. Surely they understand it. But then you can ask a patient, why do you come in? Why do you keep coming in for care? Why do you bring your family in? And sometimes they'll say something that shocks you, like, well, because you tell me to, right? They don't have this great answer that we think as docs, they're going to know, oh, because I want to vivify my cells or to keep my spine functioning at its best level.
Correct.
So that ongoing education, I think it's important, so that not only did they understand it, but I like what you said, so that they can share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it becomes shareable. You're teaching them how to refer, why to refer, and equipping them with the tools to refer. And referring, when I say referring, I'm not talking about dragging people in the office other than their own kids or their own family, but basically passing on information. The way I look at it, anytime a patient shares information, that's a referral. Now, that referral may not manifest for a long time. It may get past 8 different hands, but to me, that's a referral. And so they realize they're not responsible for bringing that person in. That's the person's own choice. But you're constantly equipping them, teaching them, training them. And again, social media platforms are just a fantastic way to do it, as long as you're consistent.
It's interesting, because I think the way that the world has gone, people are less likely to get involved. In the old days, if you saw somebody on the side of the road with flat tire, you pulled over, you stopped, you helped them. 3 other people would probably pull over. Now we're so hesitant that, oh, maybe that's a trick. Maybe we're going to get carjacked, right? And that mindset continues on, where a lot of times people don't want to reach out to their coworkers or their family or somebody that they might know from church, because they don't want to feel like they're overstepping their boundaries. But I think with the social media aspect, to be able to share it, then the people that want to see it can click on their links and can read it. So it makes it a little bit more comfortable for patients.
You're right. It's non-confrontational.
Yes.
It's like putting food out at an event. Pick up the carrots if you want, leave them alone if you don't. No one's going up saying, eat this carrot. And I think that, well, I know that we are so bombarded with people wanting to tell us something that we almost have this filter, almost this defense mechanism where we just kind of ignore it. But if we can engage, and especially being consistent with that engagement with good information done consistently over time, eventually they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. And so then it becomes really kind of a self-study type thing. You're just shining the light on the way. And for some people that can be minutes, some people can take decades, but you're still providing that kind of content. And it just blows me away how much good content there is out there that just gets buried in medical journals and scientific journals written by PhDs who are trying to press other PhDs. And even your typical smart doctor like yourself can look at a research paper and go, I'm not sure what they're saying here. But we can break it down to where the average person, the average educated person can understand and say, wow, that's incredible. I mean, I have a conversation constantly with parents about their kids and text neck, and we can get it right into spine, nervous system, brain development, depression, literally in 20 seconds because they already know it. They already have all this knowledge. It's like I've often said, it's like this big box of jigsaw puzzle pieces. They've seen all the pieces, they haven't put them together. Our job is to put them together, to help them assemble those pieces and say, oh, I see why now this added stress in my kid's spine is affecting their development, why these things are happening. And again, once you understand spinal health, systemic health, chiropractic is just the solution. Chiropractic does not require a lot of explanation if you set it up properly with spinal health, systemic health, and really innate healing, so to speak.
I love that you said that, sometimes the information can be so technical, but everything I've seen you do and the stuff that is so successful in reaching people breaks it down and makes it easy to digest, easy to understand, but it takes a complex subject or a complex research paper and it puts it in the hands of people in a way that they can understand. And I love that you do that. That's brilliant, because I've seen people post stuff on social media that it's targeted toward their community, targeted toward their patients, targeted toward the public, but yet it's written in a language that's more targeted to fellow colleagues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Hey,
a big
listen,
one.
we have, and I'm going to pick on chiropractors, which I've known to do now time to time. People post a lot of information that's great for chiropractors and chiropractic assistants. General public, it's just white noise. It's absolute white noise. And I always say the first rule of effective patient education or communication is engagement. You've got to engage the person. You've got to get them involved and interested before you start informing them. Other than that, it just becomes white noise. And I know that I've seen people post really technical stuff. And boy, if they get through, even if the headline catches them, if they get through the first sentence and they're like, well, what is this? Forget it. That's it. I'm done. And I'm probably not even going to click on anything else you share after that.
Yeah. Once they come across something, I remember that old saying, once they come across one word that they don't understand, they're stuck on that. They don't move forward.
Yeah. And
if it's in a lecture or whatever.
It's even in the first sentence, something's got, even the headline has to grab them. I know, like, if I'm watching, like, we're families at home, we're trying to pick a movie we've never heard of or seen of. Boy, if it hadn't grabbed me, like, in the first 10 minutes, I'll keep watching it with the family. Something's got to grab me, something interesting. And that, to me, patient education has to be interesting. And it is interesting. It really is interesting from all the things we've talked about, how the body works, how it's designed to work, all the ADLs, all that kind of really good stuff.
So here's something that I kind of want to hear your take on, because a lot of times chiropractors will say, oh, when I go on social media, everybody's talking about blah, blah, blah. But that's because of the algorithms. You're seeing your version of everybody. You're not seeing what your community is seeing. You're not seeing what your patients might be seeing. So, is that your interpretation as well? Or what do you think when people go on there?
Yeah. And that's why you can't just, even though you should be posting on your Facebook business page and doing it consistently, you've got to have your people. When I say your people, your family, your friends, your patients who are like-minded, also sharing. And I'll tell you how you bump up the algorithms. You post an image like I do with my posters, and then you write something about it. Doesn't have to be you can just restate what, an interesting article about bedwetting, an interesting article about this or that. And when you add the text to it, it pushes that algorithm so much further. And I've also found the more consistent you are with social media, the more your algorithms go up over time, because people like them, people share them. Again, if you're trying to do Facebook ads where you're trying to get a bunch of new patients into, I don't even want to talk about that, because you kind of get what you pay for there. But being consistent with that will bump up your algorithms.
So it is that consistency, because I know,
yes,
even on my own personal page, if I like somebody's post or comment on somebody's post, that person's going to show up in my feed every day for the next 2-3 weeks, and until I stop commenting.
If I post something about chiropractic, and I do from time to time, and somebody shares it, likes it, whatever, I go back and I like the share, which bumps it even further. And this takes a little bit of time, but really even a busy chiropractor like yourself, they could spend 3 to 4 minutes a day, 3 days a week on social media and really have it work for them in a very, very big way. And then maybe, once a week you spend a few more times and you read some of the other stuff. But I'll tell you another great thing for social media is get yourself into local groups, just generic groups, community groups where they're asking all kinds of things. Don't use it as a forum to push your message. Just the fact they see you, and I like to like stuff. I like to like stuff, and I can't tell you how many times people come back and ask me about chiropractic because I'm in this forum with 18,000 people, and I'm just liking, I'm commenting, I'm having fun. It's just community forums, so get involved in those. They're really, really effective.
And that's good to know because, pre-world going on pause mode, a lot of us were involved in every kind of community event. We were going to the chamber and we were going to the breakfast and the BNIs and the Power Corps and the Rotary Club, the Optimist Club, you name it, the Community Business Association, whatever it was. We were doing all that, but a lot of that stuff stopped for a lot of communities. And even though Georgia's been one of the most free states, and I definitely could say I'm glad that I lived here during this whole last 2 years because we really didn't have the restrictions that some of the other states had. There were still a lot of events that were shut down or that were minimized or that were pushed online. So to be able to go into those groups socially, like through social media, I think that's a great, great tip.
And I'll tell you something else. I mean, I'm in Florida, which is about as free as Georgia right now. And I'll tell you what, things are opening up left and right. And a lot of people stopped going out. And you know what? The businesses, the schools, the whatever, they're hungry for people to come in. They want that interaction. I'm ramping it up rapidly, just doing my public talks. And I wish I could clone myself just to see more and more because so many people stopped doing that. And the community craves community, so to speak.
Right. Okay, so before we wrap up, give us one talk for how the docs that are listening today could make their way into the opportunities to, basically create the opportunities so that they could start doing some community talks as well. Because I know you get to do a lot of them. You really push yourself out there.
I don't have time to talk about the feedback sheet, but really every lecture that I do, I hand out a feedback sheet that has where people can get more information. They get a copy of the video, stuff like that. And then on there, I say, we're also available for lectures outside if you're involved in a group, this or that. So every lecture that I do spawns 6 or 7 or 8 more opportunities. It's sort of like, in a crude way, when you were little and your mom or your aunt took you to a Tupperware party and you have fun, you play the games, you win the prizes. At the end of it, they say, hey, listen, anybody else would like to have a host a party? We'll come do it for you. So that's all I'm doing. I'm throwing out the feedback sheet, which comes from the new patient workshop, the patient workshop you're doing. And people just say, yeah, we have speakers come in our business all the time. We love to have speakers come in our church. We love to have people come in our school. We love to this and that. And it just and eventually you can't do it all. So you start sending, someone else, you send a video. That's really the way, leveraging every lecture you do, especially the ones in the office, into the community stuff by getting your patients to kick open the door. And they will. Just ask them.
They will, because what we found is there's always someone who's on some kind of committee.
Yep.
That's looking for speakers, and they've exhausted everybody that they know. They don't know who to turn to. They've had every committee member speak, and they're bored of that. So, yeah.
I have done no less than probably 60, at least over 30 years, 60 family reunions.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because
that's wild. That's fun.
Because I talk about it, and some of them have been like I mean, our family reunion was like 50 people, like 500. I mean, where they're coming in from all over the world, and I've done it on podcasts, and I just ask, and people go, yeah, we'd love to have you come in because I have fun and it's entertaining. Anyone who is talking about chiropractic should be entertaining. It should be a fun event. Sure. That's just an example.
Terrific. That's great, and thank you for that advice, and thank you for all that information today, Keith. How can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook. They can always get me there. My website's keithwassung.com, WWKEITHWASSUNG. My email is keith@keithwassung.com. And they can call me, talk to me, message me. I'll get back to you eventually.
Love it. Thank you. And I know you put together some great memes for the GCC to start using so that we can kind of put that out there, educate the community. Yeah.
Don't call them memes. I'm just kidding.
I know. What do you call them? What do you actually call them?
Digital posters.
I like it. They're posters.
Meme just kind of has a comedic, funny thing. And I do those too. Right. I do some of those, but to me, it's just me.
They're mini educational posters.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Perfect. So we have your contact information right there on the screen. So docs, if you and your team are watching, you want to get in touch with Keith, go ahead and send him an email there, hit him up on social media. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much on behalf of the GCC, Keith. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for the help that you've been giving us and for coming on today.
Sure. Appreciate it. It was a good time.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining us. This is the opportunity for us to bring together doctors and people and ideas and thoughts and information that you need so that you can be super successful in your practice, so that you can reach your community, and so that together we can get more people to come to chiropractic care. So join us again next week at 1:30. We like to do this every Wednesday at 1:30. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.